Hi, I'm Heather. Welcome to class. Today we're going to do a practice to support a healthy digestive system. Before we begin, if you find this video helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll start with the Supta Baddha Konasana, the reclined bound angle pose, and we're going to use a bolster running across the width of the mat rather than running the length of the mat. Depending on how bulky your bolster is, as to whether it will be helpful for you to have some blankets here on the other side of the bolster for the shoulders and the head to rest on. When we lie back, our spine will be arched somewhat over the bolster, and we do want the shoulders to land on the floor. So building up the height here can be really helpful. Let's have our belt ready, and we'll sit on the floor in front of the bolster, soles of the feet together. Let's use our belt so that if we make the loop reasonably large, we'll slip it over the knees. So you've got the soles of the feet together, but just lift the knees up enough that you can slip the belt over the knees, so then it runs down the shin bones and down the thigh bones. And as we tighten the belt, you can pull the feet in closer and closer, and the belt will be coming into the root of the thighs. When you lie back, you cannot really allow the legs to lean into the belt. The belt then offers some support to the outer hips. So just for a moment, lean back into your bolster. Check if it's too tight. It might feel like it's pulling into the lower abdomen. You can loosen it. You can tighten it if you want to bring those feet in a bit closer to you. So I'm going to pull my belt just a little bit tighter. And then when we lean back, make sure the bolster is in really close. So obviously you want the blankets in touching your bolster. Maybe you need to move yourself back to the bolster. So the sacrum touching the bolster, and then let yourself arch back. So we're not trying to tuck the tailbone here. We want to let the spine arch back over the bolster, so then the shoulders can come down on the other side of the bolster. If you find that you're in a position here where the head has to tilt back to reach to the floor and the shoulders are lifting up, that's an indication that you need height here under the shoulders. Potentially, you could put some height under the buttocks as well, but what we're wanting to create is a feeling of significant length from pubis through navel to solar plexus area, as well as broadening. So find out what support is suitable for you. So it can depend on the shape of your bolster, the bulkiness of the bolster, but it can also depend upon the length of your spine and the flexibility of your spine and its capacity to lean back. But as I said, we're not drawing the tailbone under towards the feet here. We're allowing the pubis to settle downwards towards the floor rather than drawing the pubis up towards the navel. So that creates more length, more space for the digestive organs in that pelvic abdominal area. Just as when we take the knees out wide in Baddha Konasana, it creates a broadening and a spreading across the pelvic abdominal area. So between those two front pelvic bones, we've created more space across the width, and then between pubis and navel, we've created space for the length. Then, of course, the upper abdomen, we're lifting and spreading those lower ribs. So we've got the liver on the right side of the upper abdomen there. Really, it's sitting just a little bit underneath the rib cage, and then the stomach on the left side. So those lower ribs are being given the opportunity to lift and spread, and we can feel that lengthening still from navel now to sternum. Let your shoulders release down as you relax the arms out to the sides. You are welcome to take the arms overhead further and catch hold of the elbows, which can contribute to even more of a feeling of length here in the front body. But if the shoulders don't like it, you can keep the arms resting by the sides of the bolster. Now, ideally, the belt is helping to support the outer thighs, preventing the hips from feeling uncomfortable or preventing the inner thighs from overstretching. So the belt supportive enough. And we take a few moments to let ourselves settle. Notice the spinal muscles. Is there any gripping there? Are they gripping against the bolster, or can you relax them? Spinal muscles relaxed, softening and spreading onto the bolster. And likewise, the buttocks, the thighs, the hip area, relaxing, including the groins, the inner thighs. And slow your breath down. If you do have one forearm crossing on top of the other, you're holding the elbows, swap the cross now. So the opposite forearm is sitting on top. Fingers are curled around the elbows. And stay present to your breath. As you continue to stay present to your breath, then you can slow it down, perhaps bring a little more length to the breath. But note that because we've got such a significant lift in that diaphragm region, the big muscle at the base of the rib cage, we may not get a very full, deep breath as if we were sitting and doing pranayama, but we can certainly slow the breath down. As we consider coming out of the pose, there's two ways you could come out. Because we've got the belt around the outer thighs, you could bring the knees up together and roll over to the side, or you could still have the knees up together, or you could keep the legs in Baddha Konasana and bring yourself up. You see, I'm reaching my hands to the thighs, catching the thighs, digging my elbows into the bolster so that I can sit up, and then we'll remove the belt. We're going to do another pose, reclined. Let's clear our mat so that we don't have any props there. I've still got my belt and I've got a couple of bricks. We're going to do Supta Padangusthasana number 2, the reclined big toe pose number 2. And the bricks are to offer support to the ankle of the leg that's going out to the side. So the reason you might need 2 is because you feel perhaps a little stiff in the hip or the hamstrings or the adductor muscles, in which case you can build up your height. But if you're feeling reasonably supple, maybe just 1 brick is enough. If you're using 1 brick, let's keep it at this height, the full length of the brick, and I'll be demonstrating with that 1 brick. So we'll have this brick out to the side, and when you lie down, you can have it pretty much in line with your hip, but if you do feel supple, it can go a little higher towards the line of the waist, and you'll be able to adjust that when we come into the pose. Let's take our belt, and you can use the loop. You may need to adjust the loop, but if we can create a little sling, we could say, for the foot. The belt is still in its loop, so we've got 2 parts of the belt around the foot, and the hands can hold on to the belt. We are going to only work with 1 hand holding the belt, but let's just work right leg straight, feel into the stretch in the back of the hamstrings. Then left leg straight along the floor. Press left thigh down, and we take the right leg out to the side. So as you take the leg out, that's when you're going to work out, is the brick in the right spot. So adjust where the brick needs to be to offer you support, and adjust the height. If you feel like your foot's floating a long way away from the brick, then stack your 2 bricks up, create more height for support. So you find the brick, but as you do, have that outer hip flesh rolling down away from the waist. Right ankle bone on your brick, and the left thigh pressing back in counterbalance to the action of the right leg. But not just the left thigh pressing down. The abdomen turning away from the right leg. And you'll note again, we're broadening this pelvic abdominal area to create space for the digestive organs. And yes, of course, there might be a stretch in the hamstrings and the adductors as well, but we're doing this for our organic body. So feel into what's happening there in the abdomen. Stretch the left arm away to the left side. So left leg, left arm, left side of the abdomen, counterbalancing the weight of the right leg. Steady breathing. Then you can inhale the leg back upright and remove the belt from the foot. Let's take the brick to the other side for left leg going out. So again, we'll take the belt around the foot now, around the left foot. And as you stretch that leg up, feel the leg is straight. You can straighten the knee, open the back of the knee, extend the right leg along the floor. Press the right thigh down, hold the belt with just the left hand, and then you'll find out when you take your leg out to the side, is the brick in the right spot? It's likely you'll need to move it and adjust it so it's in just the right spot to support underneath your ankle bone there. But don't take it down to such a height that you find that your right hip is lifting up off the floor. You want to be able to press the right thigh down and broaden the right pelvic bone away from the left groin as that leg is supported. So you might need extra height. So you're supporting the leg with the ankle on your brick, and then right arm can stretch out wide to the right side. Go on pressing the right thigh down, pinning the right shoulder down, and turning the navel back towards the right side. So we're bringing some tone to the abdomen as well as the broadening that's happening here. Steady your breath. Inhale, raise the leg back up and remove your belt and just rest there for a moment. Let the belt go. Relax the arms, relax the legs. When you're ready, then you can bend the knees, roll over to the side, come to sit up. And for the next pose, we're going to use a chair and some blankets. We're going to do an inversion. So if you're menstruating, this next pose won't be for you. You could do the supported bridge pose, which I'll quickly demonstrate. You can use a brick underneath your sacrum. So you lie down, put a brick underneath your sacrum, roll your shoulders under, feel the chest is broad. If your lower back feels at ease, you could potentially straighten the legs there. And you can always work with a higher brick underneath the sacrum if your back feels okay there. But for those of us who are not doing bridge pose, we're going to use a chair and, as I said, some blankets. I've got 3 blankets stacked on top of each other, and then I'm going to place my bricks between the blankets and the chair. That is a good way of giving indication, well, how far away from the chair should the blankets be, or how far away should the blankets be from the chair. But it's also going to offer support for the pelvis, the back of the pelvis. So when we come into this, let's take the legs on either sides of the chair and sit the pelvis on the bricks as you lie back. So back of the pelvis on the bricks, legs are on either sides of the chair, shoulders on the cushions, but the head is off the cushions. And you should be able to reach to hold the legs of the chair. If you can't manage that, you could put a belt around the legs of the chair and hold on to the belt. We're wanting to secure the chair, so if you're working with a belt around the legs of the chair, you might want to put your chair against the wall so it doesn't tilt when you're pressing your feet into it. If you've got your hands holding the chair, then you can definitely prevent the chair from tilting. So let's get the feet, heels onto the seat of the chair, and you could push the feet, the balls of the feet into the arms of the chair there, but eventually we're going to bring the balls of the feet flat onto the chair seat. We inhale. Exhale, lift the hips up, and then you can flatten the feet on the pad of the chair there. Have the heels coming to the front edge of the chair. And as you lift the hips up, roll the shoulders underneath so you're standing more and more on the tops of the shoulders. And you drive the feet into the chair so much that you can lift your hips up. Draw the hips up, lengthen tailbone to knees. And move the thoracic spine in towards the breastbone as the breastbone moves towards the chin. So now if you feel the abdominal area, you'll note the abdominal contents are sitting upside down. They're hanging upside down towards the rib cage. So observe that sensation. And sometimes it can feel like quite a relief, a different sensation in the abdomen, particularly if there's a concern about feeling bloated. Just a few more breaths. Now as we come down, you undo the tuck of the shoulders and you lower the body, but just slide the shoulders off your blankets. So the head and shoulders rest on the floor, back of the pelvis on the blankets, and then the calf muscles can rest on the seat of the chair. And you relax there. When you're ready, then you can roll over and come to sit up. Now, of course, the poses that we did today are not the only poses that are beneficial for the digestive system. Many of our yoga poses are, and having an ongoing, consistent practice is what can be of most help. If you like practicing with me, please go ahead and join me in the video library on my website, as well as the members group, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. There are over 370 classes, full-length classes in that library, and I'm adding to it every week. You can start with a 7-day free trial. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me. For more in-depth teaching, check out the video library on my website, heatherkitchenyoga.com.au. The link is in the description box below.